Dear students, welcome to my channel HSC English Version Tutorials. Today we are going to learn Accounting First Paper Chapter 1. If we can learn Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 perfectly, we will get at least 3 CQ common in the exam. So we are going to learn this chapter in details. Look at these two persons. Both of these two persons want to start a new business together, and so they formed this company by sharing 1 crore of taka each. That means the capital of this company is 2 crores of taka. We denote this capital as C. After receiving capital from these two owners, this company has got its own individual entity. From now, forgetting about these two persons, we will count every transactions on the basis of this newly formed company. That means what this company owns are its assets. We denote assets as A. What this company owes are its liabilities. We denote liabilities as L. What this company earns are its revenue. Revenue means the amounts that a business earns from selling goods or giving services to a customer. We denote revenue as R. What this company spends are its expenses. We denote expenses as E. What these owners draw from this company or from the bank in the name of this company are called drawings. We denote drawings as D. Now look at this chapter map. See, we have to learn accounting equation, owner's equity, and effects on accounting equation from this chapter. We know that every transaction has two parties. One is called debit and the other is called credit. The amount of debit must be equal to the amount of credit. This is the basic rule of modern accounting. On the basis of this principle, accounting revealed this A equals L plus OE equation. This equation is also called the basic equation. Here, this A means assets, this L means liabilities, and this OE means owner's equity. So, these are the three elements for this equation. Again, there are mainly 4 elements that affect this owner's equity. These 4 elements are capital or investment by owners, revenues, that is income, expenses, and drawings. For these 2 elements, this OE increases, and for these 2 elements, this OE decreases. Why? If this capital or these revenues of a company increases, then the pocket of the company gets heavier. So, OE increases. On the other hand, if the expenses of a company increases, or if the owners of the company draw money from the company, then the pocket of the company gets lighter. So, OE decreases. Thus, these 4 elements of OE affect this OE or owner's equity. So, we can write OE equals these 4 elements C, D, R and E like this. We can put plus sign in front of the elements that increase owner's equity like this. Similarly, we can put minus sign in front of the elements that decrease owner's equity like this. Therefore, we can write OE equals C minus D plus R minus E. Instead of this OE, we can write A equals L plus C minus D plus R minus E. See, we have got a new equation here. This equation is called expanded accounting equation. Can you tell me how many elements are there in this expanded accounting equation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, isn't it? We may get 2 MCQ from here in the exam. Number 1, how many elements are there in the basic equation? Answer will be 3. And number 2, how many elements are there in the expanded equation? Here answer will be 6. Now look at this basic equation again. This is left hand side and this is right hand side of this equation. Do remember, at any cost this left hand side and this right hand side must be equal. A question had come in Dhaka board 2017 based on this equation. When a transaction changes the balance of this equation, and if we do not know how to balance this equation according to the changes, then we will not be able to solve mathematical problems of this chapter. Therefore, now we will learn when this equation get changed and how to equate this equation. There are some transactions due to which both of this left hand side and this right hand side get changed, and there are some transactions due to which either this left hand side get changed or this right hand side get changed. For example, capital brought by the owner. This is a transaction. There are 2 accounts here. One of them is cash account and the other is capital account. Can you tell me whose element is this cash account? Actually, cash has been increased for the company for this account. That is why cash account is an asset for any company. So we can say that this cash account is the element of this A. Now, can you tell me whose element is this capital account? Look at here. See, capital C is the element of this owner equity. So, for this transaction, both this A and this OE will be changed. Therefore, in this equation, balance will also be changed. Now, look at this another example. Machinery purchased on cash. This is also a transaction. There are also 2 accounts here. One of them is machinery account and the other is cash account. Can you tell me whose element is this machinery account? Surely this account is the element of assets. That means this A. Whose element is this cash account? Certainly this account is the element of these assets. That means this A. Therefore, for this transaction, only this A will be changed. So we can say that only this left hand side will be changed for this transaction. But this right hand side will be unchanged. For this one-sided change, the balance of this equation will also be changed. There are 2 awesome tricks to solve this problem. If both sides of the equation get changed, then we have one trick to equalize the equation, and if only one side of the equation, that may be this side or maybe this side, get changed, then we have another trick to equalize the equation. Trick 1. When the 2 sides of the equation get changed and if we get plus in one side, then the other side must be plus. And again, if we get minus in one side, then the other side must be minus. That means if we get plus here in this left hand side, then automatically this right hand side will be plus. Or if we get plus here in this right hand side, then automatically this left hand side will be plus. Similarly, if we get minus here in this left hand side, then automatically this right hand side will be minus, or if we get minus here in this right hand side, then automatically this left hand side will be minus. For example, capital brought by the owner taka 50,000. In this transaction, there are two accounts here. One is cash account and the other is capital account. This cash account is the element of this A and this capital account is the element of this OE. Here, both these left hand side and right hand side have changed. Can you tell me, for bringing cash by the owner, will here be plus or minus in this left hand side? Certainly plus. So we can write in this left hand side plus 50,000. In case of changes of both sides, if we somehow can figure out one account whether it is plus or minus, then automatically we will be able to say that the other account will be plus or minus. Therefore, as we have got here plus in this left hand side, then automatically this right hand side will be plus. That means this capital account will be plus. So we can write here 50,000 with plus sign. Let us see another example for better understanding. Salary paid taka 10,000. In this transaction, we get two accounts. One is salary account and the other is cash account. This cash account is the element of this A. Is salary an income or an expenditure? Certainly it is an expenditure. That means salary is the element of this OE. Here also both this left hand side and right hand side have changed. Now tell me, if salary is paid, will the assets A increase or decrease? Certainly assets A will be decreased. If asset decreases, will this amount of 10,000 taka be added or subtracted here in this left hand side? Certainly we will subtract this 10,000 taka from this A like this. To show subtraction, we can use minus sign or we can use bracket as our wish. We have used bracket here instead of minus sign. As we have got minus here in this left hand side, then automatically this right hand side will be minus. Salary is the element of this OE, so we can write here 10,000 taka within a bracket. Do you understand? Now we will learn trick 2. When the only one side of the equation get changed, and if we get an account of that particular side as plus, then the other account of the transaction will automatically be minus on that same side. For example, machinery purchased on cash taka 25,000. In this transaction we get two accounts. One is machinery account and the other is cash account. This machinery account is the element of these assets A, and this cash account is also the element of these assets A. See, only this left hand side has changed. Now tell me, because of purchasing machinery, will the assets of the company A increase or decrease? Certainly assets A will be increased. So we can write 25,000 taka here below this A. See, already we have got here plus for one account of this transaction. So closing our eyes, we will subtract the other account here in this particular side. The other account is this cash account. Therefore we can write here 25,000 taka within a bracket like this. Let's see another example for better understanding. Purchase goods on credit taka 10,000. We get two accounts from this transaction. One is purchase account and the other is payable account. This purchase means expense. That means purchase is the element of this OE. Again, this payable means liabilities. Therefore, payable account is the element of this L. So, we can say that for this transaction, only right hand side has changed. Now tell me, because of payable account, will the liabilities increase or decrease? Certainly liabilities will be increased. So we will write 10,000 taka below this L. See, we have already got plus for one account of this transaction. Therefore, closing our eyes, we will subtract the other account here in this particular side. The other account is this purchase account. So we will write here below this OE 10,000 within a bracket like this. Do remember, these two tricks are very valuable for you, because with the help of these two tricks you will be able to equalize any imbalanced equation by yourselves. Look at these board questions. Determine the amount of opening capital. Show the effects on accounting equation of the transactions in a tabular form. Calculate the amount of drawings. Show opening journal entry. Determine the net purchase amount. Determine the net sales amount. Find out the events which are not transaction, and calculate the owner's equity. Almost in every year, these 8 questions come in the board exam by turn from chapter 1. Among these 8 questions, these 3 questions are very important. Today, we will learn how to determine the amount of opening capital. In our next tutorials, we will learn how to determine the answers of these 7 problems one by one with full of explanation. So let us start with this first one problem. Look at this tricky formula. Opening capital equals all the assets invested by the owner from his own fund on the first date of the year minus all the liabilities of the owner on the first date of the year. Do remember, the liability that does not belong to the owner cannot be regarded as capital. For example, if we get the terms loan or bank loan in the question paper, then these two terms will not be regarded as capital, because these two terms are not the liabilities of the owner. These loan or bank loan is the liabilities of the company only. See, this is a board question. Mr. Rohim has a shop. The balance of his different accounts on June 1, 2014 was cash taka 20,000, account receivable taka 35,000, inventory taka 22,000 and account payable taka 15,000. Calculate capital on June 1, 2014. See, there are no loan or bank loan here in this system. So, we have nothing to worry about. These are the assets and this is liability. To calculate capital or opening capital, at first we will add these 3 assets and then we will subtract this liability from the sum of the assets like this. Look, here we added these 3 assets and this amount is the total amount of these assets. From this amount we subtracted this amount of this liability. This is our answer. Now look at this another board question. On 1st June 2014, Mr. Sirat started a business with cash taka 55,000, goods টাকা 10,000 and loan টাকা 15,000. Calculate the amount of opening capital of Mr. Sirat. See, the owner invested these two assets from his own fund here, but this loan is not regarded as capital, though loan is a liability. Why? Because this loan is not the liability of the owner. This loan is the liability of the business. Therefore, ignoring this loan, we will just add these two assets. The sum of the assets that we will get will be the answer. See, we did not write here this loan. We just added these two assets and got this opening capital. Do you understand? Thanks a lot for watching this tutorial.